name is Daniel Gonzales, and I'm front house engineer for Gungor, and I've been using Waves plugins for a couple years now. I started mixing music and doing stuff for my home church when I was in junior high, just helping out set up. And from there, I just really fell in love with it. My dad had a little home studio, and I decided that that's kind of what I wanted to do. I discovered Waves plugins as I was going through recording school. With some of my projects, I would download the demos and try them out. The first demo I ever downloaded was the SSL bus compressor, and was working on a little project at home and really fell in love with the way it shaped the overall. I put it on the left-right mix, and it just made a huge difference in the sound of the mix. And in the live world, as soon as Avid made it possible to integrate those Waves plugins, I was right on board. I really fell in love with the old analog technology, the LA2A and the SSL EQs and the channel strips and the API stuff. And so those are what, when I moved to the Waves plugins, I really dug into those. I like the controls, the minimal options there that some of them have. So I really like those plugins. Currently, my favorite plugin, Wave plugin, is the HDelay. It's just super versatile, and I'm able to create a ton of different style delay effects with it. On this song, it's a very lo-fi delay, atmospheric almost, and so with the lo-fi button, it gives it a little grit. I make sure that that's in. I got the BPM set to the host, so it's following the scene. And then I really, pull back the low pass to also make it a little bit more lo-fi. And it's just cool with the feedback knob, huge knobs, being able to grab them, turn them during the song super easily, adjust the effect on the fly. I love being hands-on when I'm mixing, and those type of knobs really let me be able to do that. Switching between analog settings, you really hear the difference as you switch between. I've found that 3 is my favorite setting. I don't know, it's just something about the way it sounds. So yeah, that's cool. I've saved a couple of the delays. I have a certain song that's just more spacey. Again, just being able to quickly grab the high pass, I've really cranked that up here. Again, I like the low pass brought up. The link button, able to adjust these two at the same time, is a cool feature. Also just helps with the versatility of the plugin. On the vocal, having a mod as part of the modulation as part of the effect, I like it being able to change the rate of the mod during the song. It gives it a little flutter effect, and that's been fun to use creatively. I wanted to have some sort of doubling effect, but I didn't know exactly what I wanted, so I was able to quickly load Dave's vocal doubling effect that he had on here, and then just give it some minor tweaks as far as the EQ range and stuff, and listen to it and make sure that's what I wanted. And that was really cool to just be able to switch between a few. I went through some, and Dave seemed to already had locked it in, so that helped me out a little bit when it was on the fly. Another one of my current favorite plugins is the HEQ. Dealing with different rooms every night, I'll load my scene. Currently this HEQ is on the left and right bus, and I'll do a full reset, quickly flatten it out. Because the room changes, I want to make sure I start with a flat EQ every night and then dial it in. HEQ has the different models of EQ. The Digital 2 has, for tighter filters, has been my favorite. Really being able to notch something out, while maybe the UK version 1 has a little bit of a wider band. Even when you got the Q set all the way as tight, it's still a fairly wide band. The plugin's got so many options. You got phase on both sides of your outputs. You can be able to link your left and right, being able to pull down the input. If you need a high pass, you quickly have a high pass. If not, you have another band. The other cool thing that I'm really digging on the HEQ is the constant analyzer that's rolling. A lot of times I'll use this peak hold and let that run throughout a song, really find out where there might be an issue in the mix. This is on my left-right. I know this is just analyzing the actual processing inside the board, but it's good to know what might be a hot frequency. Sometimes you won't hear maybe at the back of the room, but you'll notice that maybe 200 is really hot. You'll walk up, yeah, 200's hot. You'll be able to come back here, dip it out if 200 is a little hot. And you just constantly being able to analyze it. The other thing, if you're not an audio geek and maybe that you talk more notes, sometimes somebody on stage will say, hey, it's sounding like, there's an A chord ringing out. They're musicians, and I'll be able to say, I'm not a musician, I'm just an audio guy. I'll be able to run through and find out what exactly they're talking about, and that's been a help. On this tour with Gungor currently, it's a very different tour. We're in clubs, convention halls, churches, and so the room constantly changes, the PA constantly changes, but having the Waves plugins on my console has been a huge part of having a consistent creative mix night after night, where people know that they're going to hear a good, solid mix, and it's not, when you're in clubs, they may have a rack of old outboard gear that don't work with an analog console, and it can change from the night before where it's a church where they might have a brand new digital console with no plugins, but having your own console, being able to have the Waves technology at hand and really use them to your full advantage using them has been a huge plus on this tour.